Hey everybody, it's Kathy Champion with Random Acts of Crafting, and I am back with the beginning part 1 of our mini album Christmas 2019. I had asked everyone what did they think about doing a Christmas album, a Brenda style album with sort of my take on it, and I got a very positive amount of comments back saying yes, they would love for me to do the Christmas album. So we are probably going to break this down, I would say, in at least 3, maybe 4 separate videos. So this is going to be a series, so please stick with me. The first part of it is just going to be getting our pieces ready, and I believe in my last video I did tell y'all that if you had chipboard to go ahead and cut your pieces into 6x6. Well, I have not cut mine yet, so I am going to show you that if we wanted to do 8 pages, we would only need 2 12x12 pieces of chipboard. Now, if you do not have chipboard, you can use any type of packaging. Like if anybody gets packages like this in these envelopes, you can very easily take this apart. This comes off just like this, and you can cut this down and use this as chipboard. Now, this is not quite as thick as this chipboard is, because this is a good weight chipboard. I'm not sure exactly the weight of it. Let's see, it just says 25 sheets, medium chipboard. So you can order this offline. I'll put some links in my video below as to where you can find this if you want to do the chipboard. But if you have any packaging, I've even seen them done out of cardboard. I think they look much neater if they're done out of chipboard, but you do not have to have chipboard. Just thought I'd put that out there. But anyway, I have my trimmer, and I am using my Fiskars because this is the one that I have dedicated to chipboard. And you do not want to use your regular blade in your regular trimmer. Now, if you have a Cricut trimmer and you want to use it, you can use it, but just make sure that you have a backup blade and put a new blade in after you finish, because chipboard is very hard and it's very difficult to keep your blade sharp after cutting something as dense as this. And you will have to cut this twice, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to put this in on the 6-inch line right here. It's at 6 inches, and I am going to cut up and down, and I'm going to press, and I'm going to go back and forth several times, and then I'm going to raise this up, and see, it doesn't cut all the way through. But if you flip it over, take it back to that 6-inch mark, put your blade, oops, I just lost my blade. Let's see if we can put this bad boy back together so we can finish cutting. And if we can't, then I guess I will look for another blade. This little blade had come out once before, and I didn't even know they would come out, but of course if it can happen, it is more than apt to happen to me. So I'm going to be very careful and popping this back in, because this blade is sharp, and that looks like that worked. So now let's just snap it back in place. Make sure I get this back on my 6-inch line, and we're going to just slice up and back down, and that should have cut it. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it back in this way, and we're going to cut it at 6. This will get, this blade is just not staying in. Let me see if I have another one in here. I did keep these blades. Here we go. This is actually the old one that I had for my chipboard, so I think I'm going to pop it back in, because evidently that one's just not working real good for me, is it? So let's see if that one will work a little bit better, and we'll put the cover over this one and save it for another time. I also have one for my my Cricut trimmer, so I'm going to put that back at 6, and I have this new blade in, so we're hoping that this is going to work. I'm not sure that I've got that popped down in there tight. There we go. Alright, again, back to 6. We're going to sink our blade and cut it up and then down, turn it over, and cut it again. Now this will take a little bit of time because you will have to take the time to cut it on both sides, but as you can see, you will have perfect 6x6 pages. What is great about using a 6x6 is because your 6x6 paper pads, and this is one that I was looking at using, these will fit perfectly once you take off your little hole that's at the top, and basically we can hold that at 6 inches and do that, and this will fit perfectly on that piece of cardstock or chipboard, just like that, and we won't have any waste or anything. So I thought that was really a neat way to do this album. So for right now, we're just going to do this, and after we get everything cut, we'll talk about paper. So there's 2, and I need to do this just a couple more times. So we're going to cut this one at 6. You just have to remember that all your cuts are at 6 inches. You're going to cut it in half at 6, and then you're going to turn it over and cut it at 6, so all of your pieces will be 6x6. And I think these make just the cutest little album. So there is 4 of our pages, and you have to remember that you're going to have 2 sides on both pieces. So 8-page album is going to give you 16 pages to decorate. Plus we're going to have some flip outs and pockets and different things within this album that's going to give you even more area to decorate and to add pictures. So, and I've got some really neat ideas for some layouts that I think you're going to like. And I can't wait to see your creation. There went my little cover again. So give me just a minute. Let me see if I can get this put back up. I think it's time for new tape. I am not sure, but I'm pretty sure we need to get some new tape on this light. Sorry about that. All right. So now all we have to do, we got left to do, is cut this in half at 6. And cut the other piece in half at 6, and we will be done. And if they don't come loose, if you just kind of bend them a little bit, they will open right up. So, like I said, it's great if you have an old trimmer that you can dedicate to your chipboard. And that's exactly what I did with this little Fiskars trimmer. I dedicated it to my chipboard, so whenever I needed to cut, I would have my chipboard would I could cut it without ruining the blade in my paper trimmer. So I just call that my chipboard trimmer, and my Cricut trimmer is my paper trimmer. Okay, so we've got these done, and now we're going to talk about our paper. Now I took out this little pack of paper right here, and this is called Christmas Market, and this is double-sided paper. This is put out by Cartabella, and this paper was really cute. Now I tore out all of my pages that I thought would work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put each one of these in and see if I can trim them down past the little circle where the hole was. And basically I just want to put them in my trimmer and make sure that I'm cutting them at 6 by 6. So we know they're 6, and now we just need to measure them this way and cut off the hole. So I'm going to do 3 at a time because I think this will do it. If I see that it won't, then we'll just do 2 at a time. Let's see how that worked. Almost. I think we need to do 2 at a time. So let's lay this in here at 6. Yeah, that's much better. And I am going to, and some people might think this is a little bit of an overkill, but I want to keep my little strips. And if any of y'all know me, you know that I like to use these little strips on cards and what have you, so I'm going to hang on to these. I might not be able to use all of it because of the hole in the middle, but I think I can get some use out of those. So let's do 2 at a time. I'm going to put it in at 6. That worked out much, much better. So let's see. This one is that one. And if you notice what I did when I put these pages together, I pulled them out, and there are 2 patterns of each paper, which gives you the front and the back of each paper. Like this one, you've got the little holly and holly leaves. This side, you got a beautiful poinsettia. So when I laid them out, I was laying them like this. So I would have 1 poinsettia, 1 holly, 1 Christmas wreath, and 1 with these, looks like mistletoe. And then we got the plaid, and then we got a green stripe. So I was kind of laying them out like that so that there's a solid green and the beautiful little red pickup. So, and then this is a plaid, and this one is snowflakes. So if you lay them out like that, then you can actually see that or it feels like you've got more paper than what you actually have. You still have the same amount, but you are able to, like you've got the black and white plaid on this one, and you've got snowflakes on red on that one. So this just gives you more options when you get ready to cover your pages. Now we're also going to use some regular cardstock along with this pattern paper that will help stretch our paper quite a bit. So we want to use our paper to its full advantage and get the most out of it that we can. Look at that, isn't that cute? It looks like an old barn with snowflakes falling. Just really, really pretty Christmas paper. And I love this one. I think it is gorgeous. So, I don't know if y'all are like me, but I just absolutely love pretty paper. I think all of us crafters do, and we get joy out of our paper, or at least I do. And I don't think I'm any different than any other crafter. I've heard so many crafters say they hoard paper, and I am guilty. But since I've been doing tutorials for everyone and trying to keep content going on my YouTube channel, I have found out that I'm using more and more of my supplies, and then I'm getting enjoyment out of using them. So I challenge you to do the same. Pull out that paper pack you haven't used in a while, or that paper pack that you thought was too gorgeous to cut. We all have those. And I have this other little pack of paper that I found, and I love these colors. And look at this for the front page of an album. Is that not gorgeous? I'm not too sure that I don't want to use this for my front, and I'm thinking I might use this for the back, because these two just coordinate so well, and I think that for a front cover this would be gorgeous. And we will decide how we're going to put Christmas 2019 on here, but we're going to come up with something pretty to put there. So I am going to grab 1 piece of my chipboard. I think that's all we need the trimmer for right now. And I don't want to go too far into this just yet, but what I do want to do is, at least in this first video, work on getting our pages covered. So like I said, we're also going to work with some regular red and maybe some green. And let's see, there's a beautiful red, that's a scarlet. And let's look at this green. This is a real pretty Christmas green. I like that. But then I also like this green. And I think, you know, for Christmas you can have more than one shade. It does not have to be one shade of green, because if you look at this would look good on this or this. So I'm gonna use both shades. Look at that. Is that not stunning on there? This, this. I mean, it's just so many possibilities. And I think it's so pretty. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is I am going to glue a piece of this down to the front. And I think we're going to call this, or at least I'm going to call this the front of my album. Because this tree has all of the things that you think about: family, happiness, peace, love, smiles, laughter, play, magic moments, rejoice, sing, love, embrace, celebrate together, sweet treats, giving season, peace on earth, love to all, live well, the best gift of all is you, wonderful time of the year, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. So I think that's just a perfect piece to go on the front of the album. I love the specks of blue in the back of this. It's just the gold. There are so many things. In fact, I'm thinking that maybe a piece of gold with our Christmas 2019 on it would look beautiful on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down using some art glitter glue. So like I said, picking out the paper can sometimes be the most daunting thing, but if you do pick a paper pack and kind of go with that, you can pretty much have a theme. Now the bad thing with the small packs of paper, you don't get the stickers, but if you have some stickers in your stash that are Christmas stickers, you could definitely use them. So I am going to put this on here and just kind of hold it down like that to make sure I'm getting it evened up on here just like I want it. And then I'm just going to press it. And that page is ready. Is that not gorgeous? I am so loving this paper. That is so pretty. Now I'm going to turn that over, and I think for the back side I'm going to do this red. So let's take a piece of red out. Or, you know what we could do? We could do this. That would be pretty back there. And we don't have to cut this yet. Now let's do this one, because this one does say Merry Christmas, so I think that would be beautiful to put on the back side. Although I hate to cover this up. But, and one thing we want to make sure that we know the orientation of our album. You don't want to glue a page on upside down, so before you start gluing, make sure you take a double take and make sure, like, I know this is the right side up and I know this is the right side. So I am going to pay special attention to getting my paper on here as straight as I possibly can. Just like so. I'm really excited about putting this album together. This will be my first album that I've done on YouTube because, as most of you know, I just started my YouTube channel in June. So I'm just really excited about where my journey is going to go and how much fun we're going to have. Now this is another piece of the paper from this Royal Christmas, and this is just, look at that. That is beautiful. Okay, I think I'm going to do this piece here. Or do I want to cut that? I think I want to cut this. And this is something else you have to really kind of plan out. How do you want your album to go? I know this is 6 by 6, so I'm going to cut this at 3. So that's going to give me a 3-inch piece, and this will easily go on one side or the other of the page. So now I am going to cut this brighter green, and I want a 3.5 inch. And the reason I'm going to do 3.5, I want to have that little bit of a lap over. So I'm going to cut that at 3.5, and we're going to do this by 3. And we need this by 6. So let's come down and cut this by 6. And what we're going to have here is these musical notes. Yeah, I think I like it like that. Yes. And we're going to put this piece down like this. So I am actually going to glue this green piece down first, and then I'm going to let this overlap it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do it that way. This piece is so pretty that with these musical notes and everything, I want to show as much of that as I can. But again, I'm stretching my paper by using some solid cardstock in with this. So we're going to put this piece down like so. And then I'm going to take this piece and lay it just over top of it like that. And we are going to glue it down. Again, I'm using my art glitter glue because it is my glue of choice. Reminder that if you are in need of art glitter glue, I understand that maymaymade.com, they are expecting an order in most any day. If you want to get your art glitter glue, please use the link below the description of this video. I get a little bit of commission off of any sales that are sold off of my site. And as a reminder, once the temperature drops below freezing, they will not be able to ship this art glitter glue because it does have it's a water-based glue and it has a low freeze point. So just thought I would throw that out there in case you didn't know that. It would be horrible to be stuck all winter and not be able to order art glitter glue. So just make sure you get your supply before the holiday. Before it does get cold in your area, because they cannot ship it even though they're in Alabama. They can't get it once it starts getting cold, and they definitely won't ship it up north once it gets cold. So you still got, it's September. You probably got until, I would say, the end of October, maybe, depending on where you live. Okay, we're just going to glue this piece down. I know it looks like I'm using a lot of glue, but I have this fine metal tip on my bottle, so it's not putting out as much as it looks like. So let's glue that one down. And then this page is done. Look at that, isn't that pretty? All right, let's see. So we've got 2 pages done. We've got one, let's see, 1 and 2. So that's 2 pages done. And let's go back to this other pack of paper. And let's look at this. I really do love this. But again, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at a diagonal. And again, this is going to help me save paper and yet still give some character to my page. So what I'm going to do, anytime you want to cut diagonal on your paper, just line up your tip of your paper in your trimmer and bring this down until the tip is lined up down here as well. Just like this. And then bring your blade up and sink it in the middle, slice up and then down, and you'll have a perfect triangle. So that's just a good little rule of thumb for cutting your pages at an angle. Now I think with this one I'm wanting to do an angle here. So let's see. Let's cut us a 6 by 6 and we'll slice it in half because I know we're going to be doing more of this. So 6 by 6. And then we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to angle it in our trimmer, and you just have to keep wiggling it down until you get it completely straight and onto the cut line, and just slice it in two like that. Now we are ready to put this down right here. Now I'm not going to worry about the fact that I got glue on my chipboard. I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to be gluing to that chipboard anyway, so the glue is not going to be seen. So let's come right here to this corner. Get this evened up just like we need it. And again, I'm going to work this into the corners, like so. And then I'm going to take this piece and lay it right in this corner. Now doesn't that give, I mean, it just gives so much character to the page by mixing the papers like that. I think it looks gorgeous. So this time I'm going to run the glue actually on the chipboard, because I want to get it right up to that seam. And we're going to come back after we get these covered with the papers of our choice. Then we're going to come back, and the decorating and putting pockets and folds and things like that in it is what's going to be so neat. Actually, I think on this one I am going to do a we are going to do a little flap that's going to reach up, and in order to do that we need to cut a 1-inch strip off of this piece. This is already 6 inches, so we're going to cut a 1-inch piece off, and then we're going to score this in half, and we're going to use this as a little binder piece. And I'm going to, this can look a little intimidating, but it's really not. What we're going to be doing basically is making a hinge for a fold out. So I am going to go ahead and put this in the scoreboard, and we're going to score it at 1 inch. I can find my right tool. Okay, we'll do it with this. So at a 1/2 inch, we're just going to score this down, and then we're going to fold it. We're going to miter the corners. So what we're going to do is cut them in on each side like so. So going from this point, from the fold to the corner, like that, and from the fold to the corner right here. Oops, I did that one wrong. It's okay. Just like that. Now what that's going to allow us to do is we are going to be able to glue this down to here, and we will be able to glue another piece of chipboard that will actually fold up. So I'm going to put this down here, and then our piece will actually be on this piece. So you want to think about the pages that you actually want a fold up on, because you need to put these down before you put your paper. So I'm just going to add glue. Like that. And I'm going to glue this down, getting it as even as I can between the 6 inch, and that looks about right. And I'm just going to press that down like so. Get rid of my scraps. And now we'll be able to add a dimensional piece here that will fold up, and we can attach that with a magnet or a belly band or something like that that will help hold that in place. but I think that's going to be really cute there. So let's go ahead and find another piece of paper that we want to put on this side. We know we have that on that side. Let's see, and it's going to be like this. So this is going to be the bottom. So let's look over here and see what else we've got that's pretty. I think this black piece right here would be gorgeous on here. And we're going to cut a half a piece of chipboard. For right now, I'm just going to use one of these because this is going to come up about halfway, maybe even a little bit more than halfway. So let me grab my chipboard trimmer. And I think I'm going to actually trim this at 3.5. We know that's 3, so there's 3.5. And we're going to do this the same way. Put it in at 3.5 and slice like so. And now what we will do is we will attach this to here, and this will fold up like so. Let's go ahead and glue this piece of paper down, and I'll show you exactly how this is going to come together. So let's put this piece of paper down, making sure we get around the edges really good. Okay. And press that down really good. And now what we're going to do, we're just going to sit this right here and we're going to glue that to it. And then this piece will become a flap that will actually fold out from our album. So let's go ahead and put some glue on here. You can use double-sided tape if you like, but I am going to just stick with the art glitter glue. It holds really well. It's easy to manipulate it because it doesn't stick the minute you put it down. You have a little bit of wiggle room, and that's exactly what you're going to need. Just like so. Okay, let's get us a red strip to go down this side. So let's grab a piece of this beautiful red, and I think it'll really bring out that right there. And there's so many things you can do here. You can use your corner punch. You can, or your border punches that can add so much to your album. So there's just so many things that you can do to your album at this point just to make it just stunning. So let's go ahead and cut this. And some people find it easier to cut all their pieces first, but that's just not who I am. I like to be able to kind of vision it, have a vision of where I'm going with it. So for me, I need to see it, and in order for me to see it, I have to do it as I go. So I get inspiration, sort of like with making a card. So many times when I'm making a card, I'm not real sure where I'm going with it until I get there. So look at that. Is that not beautiful? Now I'll tell you what I want to do before I glue the other side. I want to put a magnet on it because we're gonna make a magnet to stick right there so it will hold. So let's go ahead and stick this side down first. And then we're going to glue this side down. Now, if y'all notice, I haven't punched any holes yet. I wanted to get my pages completely done before I punch holes in them, because I'm not sure exactly how I want this to fall until after I get it together. So yeah, that little pop of red right there really does bring this together with that little peacock. And see, that'll fold down like that. We're going to put a magnet here and one here. And I like to use these little disc magnets, or magnetic discs. And they work really well. You have a positive and a negative, so you always want to make sure that you're using a positive and a negative, so that they will catch like they should, and they will attach themselves to each other. So we're going to just stick this one down about here. So I am going to use my little pokey tool and take the backer off of this magnet. And I'm going to stick that right there. I'm going to give it a good little push to make sure it adheres good. And then I'm going to take the backer off of this side. And in a perfect world, I would have put this down under here, but that's okay, because we're going to put pockets and folders and different things in here, so that's going to be covered. No need to worry. So I'm going to leave my little magnets right there, because I got a feeling we're going to use some more of them. And now when we lift this up, our magnet is there, and we have a magnetic folder closure there. Isn't that cute? Just like that. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3 pages done. And I think for tonight, I'm going to stop there, and I am pretty sure that we can continue with this in our next video. But you know, you can lay out your papers. You can decide what papers you want where, and kind of get them in place like this, and then we will glue them down, or I'll have these all glued down tomorrow. When I come back, we will get this little album together, and I'll have all the pages put together for you, and we will go over what pockets we're going to put where, and belly bands, and some cascading waterfalls, some things like that. So I do have some ideas for some of these pages that's going to be a little different than what you're used to seeing. Some circles, like a big circle that you can put your family in, and little circles to put each picture in of your family, which I think will be adorable. Lots of ideas coming your way. But I wanted to get you started on this tonight, and like I said, this will be a continuing video series. So meet me back here next time, and we will continue to work on this Christmas album, and I hope that y'all are going to enjoy the process. Thanks so much for joining, and as I always say, God bless, be a blessing to someone else, and tell someone that you care about them. It can mean so much. So until we meet next time, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.